those were the two new movies that I watched for the week, and then it's like you get to a point where it's like I need an oldie but a goodie, and one of my go tos when I'm in a mood, just because I love this movie so much, is Mulan, the original Mulan, not the shitty remake live action Mulan. Which tangent I did when that dropped in, I think that was 2020. That was a COVID year movie, and it dropped right to Disney Plus. I got through exactly 1 hour of that remake before saying screw this and jumping over to, it's like I'm watching the original instead. And it's because it is a 5-star fantastic film, and I'm always struck by how beautifully efficient the storytelling is in this movie. It's, I think, not like most Disney animated films, it's like 90 minutes, and it does not waste screen time. Every scene has some either it has the setups, it's got a setup or a payoff, or it's doing something for the sake of it's doing something for the sake of the characters rather than just putting it there in order for it to be there. And obviously Mulan's the main through line of the film. Duh, she's the title character, but all of the supporting characters have some sort of little mini thread that they or challenge that they need to overcome. Uh, with Shang, for example, has to prove he's not just a nepo baby given a job, and so he's got that little thread. Like he can do all of the things that he's supposed to do, but he's got this little government a-hole on his back all the time, thinking he shouldn't be there and that he's just the general's kid. So he's got to prove that. You've got all of her unit there have to they all have their little foibles that they know need to overcome in the "I'll make a man out of you" montage sequence, which I will hands down, it's up there with Rocky, is one of the best training montages put to film. Um, and even little mini moments there. One I think underappreciated sort of little mini scene. It's before she leaves. It's her dad's been conscripted. He goes into his closet and pulls out his armor and his sword and is doing a little bit of practice. And you can kind of, for a brief second, you can see that this guy, in his youth, this guy must have been one hell of a soldier, but he just does not have it anymore. And if he goes to this war, he's not coming back, and he knows he's not coming back because he's just too damn old, which sort of kicks off the whole rest of the plot. And you've got so much of that, and it's great. I also love how, for an animated movie, and this is, I think, with a lot of Disney's sort of late 90s films, they got sort of beautifully grim. Like, this does not shy away from being a war film. It opens up with an invasion on the Great Wall, and you've got sort of really, several scenes like where oh god, what's his name? I'm having a brain fart here. The leader of the Huns, he's got a couple of the emperor's soldiers, and they have a quick conversation. It's like, go tell him I'm ready. And they outright kill one of the two soldiers. He's like, how many men does it take to deliver a message? And it's just like, oh god, this isn't an animated movie. So to a certain extent, you could argue, I'm sure it's probably, it's for the 90s. I'm sure it's probably rated PG-13, but it's probably rated PG. It's got some pretty hard PG-13 moments in it. So it's very much making a film, I would say, for as much for adults as it is for kids. Um, and it's a musical, but I would say it's sort of three-quarters of a musical, because at a certain juncture, it's got, 4 songs, they're all great songs, but once they get to the end of the last one, The song ends right as they show up at this burned out village, and it's again very, very grim, and but they're smart enough not to. At that point, it's like this is not a musical anymore. We're not crowbarring any more songs in. Now it's an action war film, and it's a 10 out of 10 action war film all the way to the end of the movie. It really is quite terrific. And they're just and I gotta obviously we're in sort of this era of everything in Hollywood has to be some sort of girl power movie. And a lot of them, are at least as written right now, are insufferable failures like the Marvels. And so that got me thinking, why does this one work? Why does Mulan work where so many of modern female driven films work? Why is it so good? And I think the key to that is that it doesn't treat there's this there's a leaning right now where they treat it's if it's a movie starring a woman and it's an action film, we have to make a point to treat all of the male characters like shit. And it's like as we're in the hashtag men are trash generation, and the 90s wasn't that, so it doesn't treat the Mulan doesn't treat the male half of the human population as scourges of the earth. The male characters are largely competent people. They are of value and they have good souls, and they complement Mulan as a person rather than act as this constant adversary to everything she does. I mean, obviously the given the era she's in, it is very, very, it's, women had no rights in medieval China. That's very, obviously true. But it again, the film is smart not to it doesn't write her as she's not written as man-hating. The whole driver of the film is because, she does what she does because she loves a man, her father, and she doesn't wanna see him needlessly die in a war. The film isn't written as men cut off their dicks, which that's modern activist writing essentially at this point is men cut off their dicks. You can it can be expected that that is going to be the theme. And yes, this movie does poke fun at men, but it pokes fun at men in a way it's funny because it's true, and basically every guy would admit that it's true, and men have sort of these stupid habits that that are that women obviously find off-putting. Really great scene when she first gets to camp and Mushu is telling her, "You gotta act like all of these guys," and it's just a bunch of gross dudes. And I think we can all agree all got like guys can admit, like, yeah, that's true. It's like we can laugh at ourselves in that capacity. So it's not mean-spirited. The stuff that they make now is mean-spirited. It's mean-spirited and I would say hateful. It also I would say it also helps with this film that it is a period piece. It takes place in an era where there was no, in terms of the men women dynamic, it was obviously heavily unfairly weighted to one end. That is absolutely true. What it's not doing is taking place in 2025, claiming nothing has changed in 1,000 years, which again you get a lot of now, and it's clearly bullshit. It's a story from deep in the past, and we've very much progressed since then. And it's sort of a nice reminder of like, oh, those. It's like glad we're not living in those days, rather than a finger wag of things like nothing's changed, things are exactly the same, and it's just like, oh God, fuck off. Um, so that's I'm saying like modern writers have hangups is what I'm saying. And the other thing I'd say is that Mulan is written as a human person. She's not. They don't do the Mary Sue thing. She's not spectacular at everything for no reason. And actually, part of the problem, and it's sort of a tough problem to have, is the stuff that she's really bad at is the stuff that her society is demanding that she do. She's all of the please bring honor to us all sequence. It's like, here's all the womany things we want you to be able to do. And that's not really where her talents are at. It's not where her talents are at all. Her talents are in other departments. And it's also, she's not spectacular at the soldiering. She's not spectacular at the soldiering immediately. She has to learn that, and when she learns that, she takes to it, and takes to it quite well. And I would say the other thing it depicts is, she in that, and this goes to the montage, she actually learns all of that stuff from Shang, a man, which which you could not depict. Like, you cannot, like, it's sort of anathema to show that a woman could learn anything from a man, which, again, it's stupid. Like, it would be equivalently stupid to say that a man could learn, there's nothing a man could learn from a woman. That would be a really dipshit thing to say. So why does it not work the other way around? Like, and she learns from Sang and becomes a really, really good, um a really, really good soldier. And it's just, again, sort of this bizarre modern, like, this modern idea, and it sort of forgets that part of storytelling is to be able to put yourself in other people's shoes. There's this weird thing of, like, it's like, just for example, like, a gay part must be played by a gay man. A movie about women must be directed by a woman. It's this weird sort of self-segregation that we're doing, and I don't know, I'm pretty sure that's not good for us in terms of getting together. On top of, just like, in terms of, like, acting, I mean, how many spectacular gay actors are out there that have played straight parts? Like, does it have to be a straight guy playing a straight part? That seems, again, really, really stupid, and I don't know why the woke people can't put those two together. But in sort of wrapping out this segment, one thing I pulled out of this watch through with Mulan is that she it does depict her really right off the bat as having a natural gift, and that's strategizing on the fly, which is a valuable thing to be good at, and comes into play several times in the film. Again, that's sort of the opening musical number. There's that little, and it's a split second thing where they pass these two people playing, I assume, the Chinese equivalent of chess, and she does a little, like, move for the one guy, and immediately wins it. So she has this ability to, on the fly, analyze a situation and make a move that will end up winning the day, which she goes on to do with the avalanche later, because they're totally screwed. She notices, like, I do this, I take this rocket, put it right up there into this mountain. It takes out the entire army. Then maybe we can get out of this. And then the whole finale action, it's all of it is based on, she's making this up as she gets, sort of like an Indiana Jones thing, where she's making it up as she goes. And it works really well. And all of those little setups that they put up with her and her unit, uh they toss them all in nice little subtle ways. Like, when they're, sashaying up the castle with the ribbons, it's very, very much a throwback to Shang making them climb up the pole with the sort of weighted, you know, sort of plate rods earlier in the film. It does all of that shit brilliantly. And in 90 minutes, like, I'm probably gonna end up watching it again this week, just because it's just like, oh, this movie is good. It's just such a good movie. And it's between this and there's just something about those late between this and Hunchback of Notre Dame. There's just something that I like a little more, and I think it's maybe the a little bit more grounded, less fairy tale nature of those films than the sort of early Disney Renaissance film that I really, really, really do love. So it's if you haven't revisited this film Mulan in a while, it's well worth going to see. It is a spectacular film.